Wow. Wow, 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 wow. We have had an interesting week. Conor McGregor came to crash the press conference, and literally within the throw of a dolly, he killed about 6 hours at least of my research. He canceled 4 fights. So right now, if you have any lineups with Michael Chiesa, Anthony Pettis, Ray Borg, Brandon Moreno, Paul Felder. I like Quinta will be fighting because he got promoted to the main event with Nurmagomedov. We'll get to that. And as well as Artem Lobov and Alex Caceres because Lobov was part of the whole party crashing. So, yeah. Slim pickings this week. Slim pickings. But we're going to have to work through this. I'm going to give you a probability. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the memes. It was pretty funny. Pretty damn funny. Uh, Not only did he take out Michael Chiesa, he took out a lot of people that I would guess were going to win. I really thought Michael Chiesa was going to take out Anthony Pettis, and I really thought Ray Borg had a good chance of beating Brandon Moreno. So, we're rolling, baby. We are rolling. We are going to save this, but we're going to pull up some lineups and stuff, and I'll get you going. We'll find out what we're going to do. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am the fantasy MMA guy. And I'm saying that now because apparently I forgot to introduce myself in my intro. But hey, second episode, we roll on. Let's go. So before we go to actual lineups and stuff, I want to touch on the Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Ali Quinta. On Khabib's side, nothing changes. He's going to be fighting a stand-up fighter predominantly. He's going to try to take him down, and probably most certainly will. On Ali Quinta's side, what does he have going for him? He's light on his feet. That's one good thing. I honestly think he has better wrestling defense than Max Holloway did. Max Holloway stands a lot more, flat-footed, like I said. But Ali Quinta's good at that sprawl. He's really good at throwing a punch and getting out at the last second, jumping out. I mean, he's got quick feet, so Ali Quinta, I wouldn't say he has a good chance, but he's got a puncher's chance. And as Errol Hawani said earlier in the press conference today, 11 years tomorrow will be the biggest upset of UFC history when Matt Serra, coincidentally Ali Quinta's coach and trainer, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainer, knocked out George St. Pierre in a fight that no one ever thought would happen. No one thought that outcome would happen. So maybe Ali Quinta repeats history on this day, on his 11th anniversary. So maybe him and Matt Serra will be partying from years on end about the same thing. We did the biggest upset in UFC history, right? Uh, Alec Quinta's got some pretty good hands, man. He's got some pretty good hands. I mean, you see him, like when I was talking about Max with the precision punching. Alec Quinta's definitely a precision puncher, and what he mixes up really good with, the one downside on him, I would say, is that he does like to throw those hooks. Like I said, those wild hooks open you up for takedown, and I seen that in a couple of his fights that he was susceptible to takedowns, especially on one of his fights. He threw a haymaker from down from his hip, going for the guy, and it was Kevin Lee actually. Kevin Lee beat Ali Quinta long time ago, or no, oh dang it. Yep, I was gonna edit that out, but who gives a fuck? It's UFC 223, and we rolling with the punches, baby. We going. So anyway, it was a win against Kevin Lee and a loss to Mitch Clark, and Mitch Clark actually got him by barbo choke. I have no idea what that is, but it changes nothing because Khabib is going to get him with a rear naked choke or a Kimura probably, or he might just beat him up for 5 rounds. Um, I don't. I think Khabib will probably get him out earlier if he's gonna win. If it goes later, Ali Quinta actually has really good cardio, so I don't know. I'd say Ali Quinta has the puncher's chance. If you're going with the heavy favorites, you might be able to stick him in a lineup. Actually, we'll touch on that because his salary cap, I do not agree with it. He should be a lot cheaper. He should be a bigger underdog, but we'll see. I was hoping he'd be about as much as Max Holloway, so he could still be that sleeper pick that you can pick a lot of high salary guys with him. But unfortunately, they still kept him in the middle, so we'll see. We'll bring up the rest of the lineups right now. Let me get my screen recorder because we stepping up production right here, baby. I got a screen recorder now. So now we're going to display these stats up here. And you might even seen my camera right there. So you're going behind the scenes. So right here we got the standard lineup. Salary caps right here. Fighters on the other side. Of course, their opponents. Fighter points per fight, or fantasy points per fight, sorry. And their win-loss. Of course, you got your lineup over here. Got your average salary remaining, and this is your total salary cap. If you've never done this, there you go. If you've done it before, you probably skip that. Who cares? Well, now it's too late, actually. Anyway, so where are we gonna go? We got, look at all these red names on here. Rayborg out. Michael Chiesa out. Alex Caceres out. Paul Felder out. Artem Lobov out. Anthony Pettis out. Tony Ferguson shouldn't even be on there. He should have been out a long time ago. Why is he on the list? Max Holloway out indefinitely. So we gotta work. And Kyle Bochniak, you don't want to pick him. We'll get into that. So out of one of my heavy favorites, someone that I think is for sure to win would be Zabit Magomedsharipov. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm trying to drag it. I'm going to go ahead and add him on there. His salary cap's at $9,500, which is really, really expensive. So like I said, you're going to have to get some sleeper picks if you throw Magomed in there. You can't just pick Khabib and Magomed. Yeah, you might get some pretty decent points with those guys, but then you got 4 more fights that you got to consider. So if I'm adding Zabit Magomedsharipov, who we got to go? We got to get some underdogs, right? For sure. If I were you guys, I have no idea why Rose is an underdog, but she is. Rose is coming in at 7,900, and Joanna is the favorite at 8,300. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bandwagoner. I've always kind of liked Rose. I think she's one of the more well-rounded girls in the division. Joanna, yeah, she's a good striker. She's really good, but I don't think she has that precision and power. Most of the time when I see Joanna, she's fighting a girl that's usually not as experienced as her, at least in the striking department. As long as she can stuff a takedown, she's got you on the wrestling department, right? I think Rose just has better striking. When she throws her punches, she throws with intention and precision. When you see Rose's punches, you can see the other girl's face and you usually see a reaction from it. I believe it was Paige Van Zandt even said, they asked her who was the hardest hitter she ever fought, and she said Rose Namajunas. She said every time Rose hit her, she saw white. So I've seen Paige Van Zandt fight through a fight with who was it, Beck Rawlings, I believe, the broken arm. So Rose is pretty tough. For her to mention that, you got Rose. I mean, Paige is very tough, so you gotta think Rose hits pretty damn hard. I mean, Joanna, I'm not doubting her skills. She's a really good Muay Thai fighter. She's got the kicks. She's got the punches. I mean, her leg kicks, she stays on the outside pretty good. But I feel like she throws more flurry punches. She doesn't really aim her punches. Yeah, she'll get a girl with, a 3-4 hit combo, end it with a kick. But it's never anything that's really hurting the girls. It's more of overwhelming. She's an output fighter. And, output fighter is good for fantasy points. You accumulate those punches. But for me, I'm trying to get someone with the win. And when I see a bargain price like Rose Namajunas right there, I'm going to have to go with Rose. I'm going to have to put her on there. She'll probably be on every one of my lineups because I do not think she should be the underdog, and that's a great price for her. So don't sleep on Rose as your underdog. Okay, another underdog that I want to talk about. So there's 2 guys that I feel are underdogs that might actually pull it off. Felice Herrig is a possibility against Carolina. I feel Carolina is like a Joanna. She has a similar style. She's pretty dominant. The only person she's lost to is Claudia Gadelha, who is predominantly a wrestler, and we all know that Felice Herrig right here is a dominant wrestler. She mixes up. She's also a kickboxer. She fought in K1 and stuff like that. But I believe Carolina should be able to outstrike her. There is a possibility that Felice Herrig can wrestle her. So, I mean, if there is someone that you want to stuff in there for cap space, Felice Herrig might be a good choice. But For me, I think Moicano is a good choice. Uh, Calvin Qatar. I mean, They're both really good fighters, Moicano and Qatar. Qatar is more of a 1-2 puncher. He likes to throw that 1-2. He's really well rounded. He's got good speed. He just had a win over Shane Burgos, and he hit him pretty hard with that 1-2, and then finished him with the upper stuff, and it'll screw up your whole lineup. That's one thing that DraftKings needs to fix. I don't know how many times I've set up a lineup, and then I want to go check out a guy, and I go look on my phone, and I come back to the app, and they wipe my whole roster, and then I got to do it all over again. Because me, I don't know. I stress these picks to the last minute every time. I'll go back and forth in my head 100 times. And, I mean, the best thing to do is just get the information, and if something happens like a big upset, you really can't kick yourself for that because it's a big upset. I mean, I've had fights where the guy did exactly what I thought he was going to do, beat up the dude for the whole time and get knocked out. A couple weeks ago, I forgot it was a Russian guy, and he was facing Paul Craig, Scottish fighter. He's getting beat up the whole 3 rounds just like I thought because of superior wrestling, and then Paul Craig slips on a triangle choke at the last second of the fight and screwed up one of my lineups. Thankfully, I still was in the money, but I should have got some more money off of that. So we're going to try to get you guys some money. But anyway, back to the point. Average remaining salary cap is $8,100. So what can we do for these last ones? So we're obviously not going to pick Evan Dunham and Aubin Mercier unless, I don't know, there is some people do it. I don't really agree with it. If you believe a fight's going to go the full rounds and these guys are going to get off a lot of strikes, it'll be a pretty even match, you know, maybe a split decision or maybe even a tie type thing. You can pick a guy that's fighting on the same fight. I don't really do it because I like to go for, like I said, the home run. I want them big points. I want first place. I want those 20 grand, 30 grand. I want to win the big bucks, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go with that. I mean, that's decent pick for that. You know, I mean, I don't think you're going to get a first round submission in the first couple seconds and Evan Dunham's not going to make any points. But I'm going to stay away from that. I like to pick the winners. You know what I'm saying? Mike Rodriguez. So Mike Rodriguez versus, let me make sure I don't double click it again, versus Devin Clark. So, Devin Clark, he's a pretty good fighter. He's well-rounded. He's predominantly a wrestler. So I think, in my opinion, wrestlers usually take out strikers, and Rodriguez is typically a striker. And the problem is with Rodriguez, I can't give you too much information because I couldn't find videos on him. UFC literally has one video on him, and it's like a 30-second fight against a wrestler, which Devin Clark is, and he throws a flying knee and knocks him out. So I don't really know about that fight. If you're going to pick, I mean, Mike Rodriguez does have that puncher's chance. There's one thing that I wrote in my notes is that Devin Clark, he likes to rush in. And some of his fights, I've seen him, he gets cracked, and it looks like his chin is susceptible. I mean, the only thing that I would say is he's light on his feet. He's got really good takedowns, and then when he gets on top of you, he's got really, really good top pressure. So, I mean, Devin Clark, I feel, should be the favorite. Mike Rodriguez is kind of the X factor. So if you're feeling crazy on an X factor, a guy that